I want to talk about your relationship with Brian Flores for a second.
Yeah,
It sounded, I think in 2008 you guys briefly crossed paths in New England. And then when it was time to hire a DC 3 years ago, how did you know that he was your guy, and how was you guys' kind of relationship evolved over the last 3 seasons?
Yeah, I interviewed with Flo as, you put together these lists, and I've always had so much respect for him since the day when I was in New England. He was really just starting as a special teams kind of quality control coach, believe it or not.
Wow.
He had come over from the personnel side. So you're like, hey, who is this guy? And, he's not that old at the time. He's not, some guy but I just remember hearing the way coaches talked about him, how Bill, talked about him, and then watching his journey just grow from there. He becomes a head coach. And then we're fortunate enough to have the opportunity to hire him. And he was my first call back then in 2023. Spent a ton of time together through the interview process. But the best part about it is, there's a couple things, really. I love him, just the day-to-day. He's such a sounding board for me as a head coach, how we want to, try to work through scheduling, how we want to try to maximize things. Because I think sometimes you can get too close to everything, and you need those other voices, whether it's Nolan Teasley, our new GM, or Flo. Like, I'm really leaning on people to help me, be the best at my job for our team, and part of that is, having the humility to ask sometimes, what do you think?
For sure.
And he's come up with some unbelievable things, off the field and just within our building to do some things. But then schematically, the way he looks at the game, the way him and I, we meet on Tuesdays for an hour every week during the season. And he goes through the game plan. He'll have clips that he wants me to watch to say, what do you think this is? What do you think would happen if we did this? And that's some of the most fun times that I have all week.
I think that's a great balance when you have, like, the communication with your staff, and not only, like, you have collaborative effort, but it's like you have to know when to make that call as well yourself, and then but also like when to reach out, when to collaborate. I think that's a very underrated skill.
And I'll tell you this: there's times where he'll say, "Man, that's your call." Yeah. Like, and it's that balance where he knows I trust him. He knows that I'm so fortunate, and I feel so fortunate to have him here. But at the same time, he's very, very good. Basically as the head coach of that defense and how he runs that room, and there's just a lot of really good things that come. And I think the proof is in the way the players that play for him talk about him.
And the results on Sunday have
and the
spoken for
results on
themselves
Sunday
the last couple of years.